The LA Clippers have won 15 out of their last 17 games and are starting to look extremely scary. In the last 10 games, James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard have been extremely effective, with James Harden averaging 19 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, and 9.9 assists, while shooting 44.3% from three-pointer. Paul George averaging 24.5 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, and 3.3 assists, while shooting 45% from three-pointer. And Kawhi Leonard averaging 27 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, 3.2 assists per game, while averaging 46.3% from the three-point line. Not to mention you have another superstar coming off the bench in Russell Westbrook giving you another 10 points per game, and you can see why they're currently sitting at 4th place in the Western Conference. Now, when the James Harden trade was announced, this shook the NBA world to its core as it looked like an entirely redundant trade at the time. Why give away your depth for James Harden when you already had 3 superstars in Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard? And how would they make this 4th ball-dominant guard work? Let's go down a little memory lane to remember how the media covered the James Harden trade at the time.
Mate, they're the problem. Hey, James, you're the problem. If this doesn't work this year in this system with this team, then you're going to go and point fingers at everybody else, and you're going to go back home and you're going to start swiping right for another team, and there's not going to be anybody left. Because, James, you're not the beard, you're not the system, you're the problem.
No one is ever going to sit up here and judge James Harden on the regular season. It's always what he does in the postseason. And the fact of the matter is, I don't trust James Harden, and I don't think the rest of the league trusts James Harden. So reminding us of who the hell he is, I'm not going for that.
Because I didn't think they needed another scorer. I didn't think they needed another ball handler. I think with PG, Kawhi, Russ, and Terrence Mann, I thought they had plenty of scoring. Maybe if you want to go out and get a defender, maybe if you want to go out and get another big alongside Zubac. But you're saying James Harden to be James Harden. So what's Kawhi supposed to do while that's going on? What's PG supposed to do while James Harden is being James Harden, getting comfortable? What's Russ supposed to do? Russ was playing outstanding. The team was playing really, really well. I just thought they added a piece they didn't need to add, and now it doesn't fit.
James Harden and the Clippers made matters even worse by losing 5 straight games, with the Clips causing the criticism and the pressure to build and the media to pile on. And Ty Lue tried to reassure everyone, saying that it would take 10 games to figure this out. Well, looking back on what Ty Lue said, he can now hit everyone with the "I told you so," because it looks like they've got everything figured out. And ultimately, Russ making the decision to volunteer off the bench has completely turned around what was a disastrous start and could have been an even more disastrous season for the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, we've seen examples in the past of super teams put together or teams that have multiple superstars, and an example of this was the Celtics in the 2018-29 season that had a stacked team with Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kyrie Irving, and Scary Terry. Unfortunately, this didn't work out, and we had Gordon Hayward sit down and talk about the Celtics team not long ago. Here's what he had to say.
Kyrie isn't necessarily a spot-up shooter. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not really a spot-up shooter. Mm-hmm. JT's not so none of it, like, we all like to have the ball and do our thing, and there's only one basketball, and it's hard to make that work. And so I think that was our biggest issue, was we were just trying to all prove stuff individually and never really came together as a team. And even so, we still made it to the second round, and that was with all the difficulties that we had. Mm-hmm.
Were y'all having those hard conversations of like, hey, we get it, it's one basketball, like we had
like 8 of them.
Okay.
At least.
Wait, did you guys walk away from it like with a level of comfort knowing that like, all right, we're on the same page here?
It got worse.
Contrasting this with what Gordon Hayward had to say, one of the key differences between this LA Clippers team and that Celtics team is that a lot of these guys are actually from Los Angeles. Paul George, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kawhi Leonard all come from Los Angeles, and these guys at one time or another had either played high school basketball against each other or actually played with each other, with Russ playing with Paul George in OKC from the years 2017 and 2019, and Russell Westbrook playing with James Harden for 1 year in Houston in the 2019-2020 season. So these guys are all familiar with each other on a personal and a basketball level. And as soon as Russell Westbrook stepped in to make that sacrifice, you got the feeling that these guys were willing to do whatever it took to make it work, because a lot of these guys must feel that this is their last real shot at getting an NBA championship. Now, we all know the tendencies of James Harden to play extremely well in the regular season and then fall off a cliff in the playoffs when his team needs him the most. A perfect example of this was last year when James Harden was with the Philadelphia 76ers and they faced off against the Boston Celtics in Game 7, which was a must-win game in order for the 76ers to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. In this game, Mr. I Am the System scored 9 points. Yes, you heard that right. Not 9 points in a quarter, not 9 points in a half, 9 points in a closeout game against the Celtics. Essentially a disappearing act. Now, despite these past transgressions, Clippers fans should have hope as the Clippers are playing extremely efficient with James Harden at the head. And here's an example of why. Here we have James Harden bringing the rock past a double screen at the top of the court at an increased speed in order to try and draw some defenders his way. Every defender has to respect the fact that Harden can either drive to the basket and attempt to draw a foul, or pass the rock to Paul George in the corner for the corner three. But because Paul George and James Harden are drawing so much attention, this leaves Zubac completely free coming off the double screen, and with a crafty bounce pass from James Harden, he's able to cut right through the defense and deliver an easy basket to Zubac, who hammers the ball home. And here, James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard are all stretching the floor. We have Kawhi posting up against LeBron in the paint, which causes the other Lakers defenders to try and close and try to distort what they think is going to be a turnaround jumper from Kawhi. They also have to respect the fact that they have Paul George at the top of the key, wide open for a three, and James Harden on the right side, who's also wide open for a three. Knowing this, Kawhi turns his body as if to shoot to draw more attention and hits Terrence Mann in the right corner, wide open for a three. Because there are so many weapons on their rosters and it's so hard to defend all of them at once, it leaves defenses having to let at least one scorer free on almost every possession, leading to easy or wide open buckets. It's no wonder Kawhi and Paul George have been scoring so effortlessly, and James Harden has been averaging over 10 assists per game in this 10-game stretch. And when you factor in another high-energy player such as Russell Westbrook coming off the bench to give you another 10 points, it's no surprise that the Clippers are having sustained success. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think the Clippers have a legitimate shot at winning a championship this year, barring any injury? Or is this just an example of another James Harden-led team that has regular season success but can't translate it into the postseason? Let me know what you guys think. And also don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I'm out.